Next on Worcester News Tonight, the Islamic Society of Greater Worcester weighs in on a decision to deny a permit for a Muslim cemetery. Plus, controversy in a city neighborhood has some asking, can a homeowner use their home as a hotel? Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tim McCohen. More on those stories in a moment, but we begin tonight with a somber tribute in Auburn. It's been 1 month since the fatal shooting of police officer Ronald Tarentino. Today, balloons were released at the Auburn Police Station to mark 30 days since Tarentino's death. The flag outside the department was also raised from half staff. Auburn Police tweeted these pictures, thanking all for the love and support they have received. Fundraising efforts continue for Officer Tarentino's family. Last weekend, police officers washed cars. This weekend, people can get their hair cut or see a comedy show to help out. Our Olivia Lemon spoke with an Auburn police officer about the efforts to remember their fallen brother.
It's kind of funny because Ron would not want all this attention, but on the other hand, he's smiling down on us knowing that we are giving him this attention. On what would have been Ronald Tarentino's 43rd birthday, Auburn police officers are preparing to host a big event in his honor. Ron used to say all the time, joking around that he was kind of a big deal, and it turns out he really is a big deal. Officer Paul Lombardi says the support the department has received since Officer Tarentino was shot and killed last month is amazing. It helps kind of with the healing process that we know that Ron and his family weren't alone and are not alone, and that we can still take care of them now that Ron's gone. A night of comedy at Mechanics Hall Sunday night will raise money for the Tarentino family. The night will feature comedians Artie Lang, Lenny Clark, Steve Connolly, and their friends. We're trying to raise money so the boys will have a college fund. We're trying to raise money so we can supplement Ron's money that the family's going to be missing. Hair Cuttery on Grafton Street in Worcester is also hosting a fundraiser Sunday night. The cut-a-thon includes $10 haircuts for men, women, and children. All funds will be donated to the Tarentino family.
We will be accepting donations for people that don't want to have their hair cut. They can come by and drop off a donation if they want to. Kristen Sullivan says she didn't know Officer Tarentino personally, but her husband is a Worcester police officer. She says Tarentino's death hit close to home. I just feel like a lot of people have viewed police in a negative light lately, and a tragedy shouldn't bring a community together to represent and support the police department. The response has been incredible from not just the local community, but from all over the country. Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
Democratic members of the U.S. House of Representatives, including Worcester Congressman Jim McGovern, are holding a sit-in on the chamber floor to try and force a vote on gun control. The protest is led by Georgia Congressman John Lewis, who is upset the 4 gun policy measures failed to move forward Monday. The group says they won't end their sit-in until there is action on gun control. Congressman McGovern sent this photo of him with Senator Elizabeth Warren on the House floor. McGovern says they are willing to stay on the floor all night to force action.
We're already talking about, spending the night here. Now, I don't know, what the Republican leadership wants to do. Maybe they'll have us removed, physically from the floor by security. I have no idea what they're going to do. But as of right now, we're prepared to be here all night and sleep on the House floor. But here's the deal. We have tried everything to try to force a vote on sensible, common sense gun safety legislation.
It took crews from several towns to get a fire in Charlton under control, and there were some anxious moments from neighbors who weren't sure what was going on. Our Brittany Schaefer has details from firefighters tonight on the cause of the fire.
Loud noise, like an explosion, and it shook the house a little.
A 2-alarm fire at a Charlton scrapyard charred cars and piles of metal. Neighbors like Sherry Roberts were anxious to find out what was happening.
Once I figured that it was nothing in the house, I took a walk down here, and there was a lot of smoke bellowing up from the scrapyard area.
And I saw fire coming from this way, so I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't my mom's place or my brother Bruce's.
The Charlton Fire Department received multiple calls at 11:10 a.m. on Wednesday. Assistant Charlton Fire Chief Curtis Meskis says when they arrived, more than a dozen cars were on fire.
First driving engine company found about 100 by 100 process pile of cars and mixed metal on fire.
The scrapyard is operated by Excel Recycling.
They keep to themselves, they do their business, and this was really a surprise.
Assistant Chief Meskis says a gasoline leak is to blame and no injuries were reported.
The operator running a grapple picked up a car, squeezed the gas tank doing that, and there apparently was some residual gasoline in that, and a spark started that on fire and it dribbled into the pile of cars that they were working on.
Spencer, Southbridge, and Sturbridge fire departments were on scene to aid Charlton. With their help, the fire was under control within a half hour.
We all rely on each other for help. Our run cards are set up to automatically call certain people on certain alarms, and we all play well together and can work interchangeably.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
The revitalization of downtown Worcester took another step forward. Today, a groundbreaking taking place for a luxury multi-family community. Our Jennifer Zarate was there and has a look at the transformation that will be taking place.
Ground is broken at 145 Front Street. 370 units of luxury housing are being built here. City manager Ed Augustus says the residential development is a part of the revitalization of downtown Worcester.
Worcester in the next 12 to 18 months is going to be a completely transformed city.
The project connects the downtown to Shrewsbury Street, the Canal District, Washington Square, and Union Station. Augustus says the hope is
a vibrant 18-hour day downtown where people are living, going to school, going to entertainment venues, going out to eat, and walking between all of those experiences.
Roseland Residential Trust Ivan Barron says the developer historically has found its success revitalizing urban areas.
We like the commutability, the location, the accessibility to amenities, walking distance to many major restaurants. You know, that's what we look for when we look to develop in new residential communities.
Today we are seeing another milestone being passed. When this project is done, we will truly revitalize downtown, creating the density that we need to have a welcoming and vibrant city for residents and visitors alike.
President and CEO of Worcester Business Development Corporation, Craig Blaze, says with this project, the city's downtown has a total investment of more than $200 million.
These luxury apartments are going to be a hot commodity in downtown Worcester. So this private investment is critical for Worcester. We've got national investors' attention, which is really important for a city.
Augustus says the goal of the public-private partnership is to create a walkable city.
All the pieces are starting to come together. We're connecting those dots. We're creating bridges between these different sections of the city.
Right where I'm standing is phase 1 of the Roseland luxury apartments being built in downtown Worcester. It's expected to be completed by fall of 2017. In Worcester, Jennifer Zarate, Worcester News Tonight.
The controversy over a proposed private Muslim cemetery on an abandoned farm in Dudley has come to a close, at least for now. The Dudley Board of Health voted Tuesday to deny the permit sought by the Islamic Society of Greater Worcester to build a cemetery on Corbin Road. People who live near the property say they were concerned about their wells being contaminated. The chairman for the Islamic Society says none of those concerns are valid and they are not happy with the decision.
We feel this is an important issue for all minorities. This is an issue for all people who have the right to be buried anywhere they choose to, and therefore we believe very strongly that we will pursue this case.
2 middle school students in Westborough are being investigated after swastikas were found drawn in yearbooks. The anti-Semitic drawings were in 4 students' yearbooks at Gibbons Middle School. The superintendent says the incident was reported to police immediately. They are working together to get more information. In an email sent to parents, students, and staff Tuesday, Superintendent Amber Bach says hate speech is a violation of our core values and will not be tolerated. All students and staff in our schools must work in a safe environment free from hate. We will work with the entire community to ensure that Westborough is a place that respects and supports all people. The school department is also consulting the Anti-Defamation League. A traffic stop leads state troopers to find drugs hidden in an unlikely spot. It happened Tuesday afternoon when state troopers pulled over a minivan. The driver, who had a revoked license, and his passenger were taken to the Millbury Barracks. At the station, troopers asked the passenger to take off his sneakers. And when he did, troopers say they found 7 small bags of heroin hidden inside. 37-year-old Timothy LaBouffe of Webster was arrested for heroin trafficking and possession with intent to distribute. A total of 10 people are facing charges after police broke up a drug trafficking ring in Southbridge earlier this year. According to Mass Live, the suspects were indicted by a Worcester County grand jury last week on charges ranging from trafficking down to conspiracy to sell a controlled substance act. The arrests came after a lengthy investigation back in February. Police say they found more than $28,000 cocaine, heroin, and crack cocaine. A former Clinton man is charged with murder after leading Texas police on a car chase that killed an officer and an 11-year-old boy. The officer was pursuing Garrett Nee, who was allegedly driving drunk, when an SUV carrying the boy and his family struck the patrol car. The officer and the boy were killed, and 6 other people in the SUV are hospitalized in critical condition. Nee is being held on $1.3 million bond. A popular website that helps people find places to stay without using a hotel is causing controversy in one Worcester neighborhood. Arnie Madison looks at whether Airbnb hosts are violating city codes by having guests in their home.
Solange Silva's home on Zenith Drive is among many places listed as a place to stay on Airbnb, a website that offers an alternative to the traditional bed and breakfast hotel.
It's very nice to get Airbnb so you can choose with who you're going to stay.
In the last year, many have chosen to stay at Silva's. Some for a few days, others have stayed for several months, and her neighbors have noticed.
There were 6 to 8 people coming in at night, all different hours, ringing doorbells, saying, I have a reservation here, and we're saying, you know, this isn't a residential area. I mean, this is a residential area, not a commercial area. There's nothing going on here.
The issue has raised concerns about whether Silva should be allowed to have so many guests staying at her home. Silva says she isn't doing anything illegal.
The city came already, the inspection came, they took me to court, the court decided I'm right.
There's already been one attempt to get a temporary injunction placed on the B&B house, but that case was dismissed. The issue was discussed at Tuesday night's city council meeting, and city leaders say they will investigate.
Mayor Petty, thank you for having us.
It's a tricky issue for the city because there aren't regulations for online lodging. Neighbors like Patty O'Sullivan feel the home may be violating city code.
Because it's such a quiet neighborhood, it is very disruptive. It's not as though there are trucks going by or anything. You're very aware of what's going on across the street.
They know how I live, you know, they meet this neighborhood. They feel much better about Worcester.
An issue putting neighbors against one another as the city looks into whether or not it's violating any zoning laws. Andy Madison, Worcester News Tonight.
Well, a bit of a different crowd tonight at the Bravehearts as a lot of the fans had 4 legs. Tonight was Bark in the Park night at Hanover Insurance Park. Fans could bring their dogs to the game for a $2 donation to the Worcester Animal Rescue League.
We get a proceed from the tickets, so we actually get $3 per ticket for both the dog tickets and the animal tickets actually donated to our rescue. So it's really a huge help in buying basic necessities, blankets, towels, and the food that we use every day.
The Bravehearts also handing out some paw socks for their new